into, okay, how can we make sure that we move away from just proving ourselves and working harder and ultimately neglecting our own needs? Now, I don't know about you, but when I looked at those first two, prove yourself and work harder, that's what I was told success is. Weren't you? From the beginning. I grew up on a small farm in southeast Indiana. My grandfather was a plumber. We lived and worked on the farm. We didn't talk about personal, emotional, and social. We didn't talk about our feelings. Get your butt to work. And so then we took that and we took it to school. And we said, go to school and prove yourself. Show up. Work harder. Perfect attendance. Did you know there's zero correlation between good grades and attendance to ultimate success? But parenting is so difficult and so uncertain, we got nothing else to bank it on, so we just say, go to school every day and get good grades. I don't know if it's going to work out, but that's the only thing I got to measure, right? And then we said, okay, well, if school is the answer, then we should probably have more school. And then we starved out the trades industry because everything had to be prove yourself and work harder, moving further and further away from our human needs of really knowing who we are. So I'm here to tell you that proving yourself and working harder is striving, and it's the opposite. It's what keeps us from thriving. And so you may be saying, well, great. I've been told this my whole dang life, and now you're telling me it's wrong? I'm going to show you today how to move out of the battle. Move out of the external validation of who you are. I'm not saying I don't want you to work hard, but I want the motivation to come from a different place. I want the motivation to come from you knowing who you are and showing up to serve your colleagues in community. It's a very subtle but significant shift. And I want us to understand our needs of personal, emotional, and social so we can be really, really specific about how to meet those. Let me give you an example of how this typically plays out. Because what's happened is we have begun to believe that we, as humans, need to control, measure, and optimize everything in our lives in order to be successful. Here's how it looks in the everyday, and one example from my life. I'm a runner, and it's not uncommon for me to go out and run with friends. It's also not uncommon to get a mile or two out and have that friend stop in the middle of the street and just lose their minds. And they're looking at their tracking device and saying, now it doesn't count. Which means what? They forgot to hit start when we took off for the run. We ran a mile or so, and now they're freaking out because that 1 mile didn't count. And those of you laughing are the ones that's happened to. That used to be me, and now I can have a little fun with it. And I go, well, hold on. I think my dopamine levels are up. I think we've had good conversation. And they're like, you don't understand. I said I was going to run 15 this week. If I don't count that mile, I got to get up an extra hour on Saturday. We have soccer on Saturday. That means I'm going to... And they just go. Because we have begun to believe that if we can't control it and measure it, it simply doesn't count. And we've lost this ability just to connect heartbeat to heartbeat, eyeball to eyeball, because we're humans and because we care about one another. And so we're going to have to flip the script on that story. But what's going to make that difficult is that our brains work off of patterns. And so because we were told that prove yourself and work harder was this moniker of success, we've got decades of this pattern that's playing out in all of our lives. And so in order to change it, we're going to have to create new patterns for ourselves and no longer believe that striving and proving ourselves is the gold star, but instead it's the problem. So now what do we do? Well, now what we do